So the Steelers lose their third game of the season to the Cleveland Browns. Their 3 losses are against the Cleveland Browns, Indianapolis Colts, and Dallas Cowboys. 3 bad teams. This is basically the definition of playing down to your competition. They lose this matchup 19-24. Russell Wilson on the day, 21 of 28, 270 passing yards, 1 passing touchdown. If you did not watch this game, please go back and watch it. For one, Russell Wilson did not have a good day. Those are good numbers. Russell Wilson had a fumble in this matchup, and he took a lot of sacks early on. He got sacked 4 times in the first half, just like how he did against the Baltimore Ravens. One thing that I'm noticing with the Steelers, and this has been a constant pattern since he became the starter against the New York Jets, they start off slow in the first half, and then they try to crawl their way out of the hole in the second half. You didn't have these type of problems with Justin Fields when he was a starting quarterback. At least it was more consistency in the first half. I'm not saying go out there and start Justin Fields because Russell Wilson is still the better passer. The problem that I have is that Russell Wilson comes out slow. He misses a lot of passes, and they're trying to run the football, and it doesn't work out. If they don't run the football and the run game's not working in their favor, let's resort to the moon ball. If that's not working out, well, Russ, let's just run around and just hope someone gets open. That is bad offensive management. That is on Arthur Smith, who has been a terrible offensive play caller the last 3 games. I understand against the Washington Commanders, you had some big moments, but it came down to George Pickens and Mike Williams. They relied too much on this moon ball. They relied too much on this zone rushing system here and there. You have to find a way to get creative in the pass game. Now, Russell Wilson, even though he did miss passes, even though he did miss some wide receivers deep down the field, it's not like they were open. It was still hard on him because of the play calls. Just like how the interception happened in the red zone last week. Bad interception against the Ravens. Why are you calling a curl concept with everyone? Linebackers and safety, they just sit on top of the wide receivers and the cornerbacks do. Get more creative in the pass game. And this was a problem the Atlanta Falcons had with Arthur Smith when he was offensive play caller and the head coach. And it's the same problem that the Tennessee Titans had. And when I look at Najee Harris, he had 3 games in a row when he went over 100 yards rushing. The last 2 games has not been good. He only averaged 2.6 yards a carry last week against the Ravens. He averaged 2.5 yards a carry in this matchup. 41 rushing yards on the day. Jaylen Warren, 45 rushing yards, averaged 4 yards a carry, had a rushing touchdown. Jaylen Warren is the faster running back, so at times he looks like the better running back. Najee Harris does very well with breaking contact and going out there and extending the play. But he had one run in particular. He's just breaking all the tackles, but you're not going anywhere. You're going backwards. They had too many negative plays in this matchup. They brought in Justin Fields. He had a run that went for 30 yards. That's great to see. The problem is this. When you bring in Justin Fields, a lot of defensive coordinators now know, hey, it's a 10% chance that he throws a football. It's a 90% chance he's going to run it. Let's send everyone around the line of scrimmage. And that's what they do. And he did have 1 pass attempt. And guess what happened? He went deep down the field to George Pickens. There's no creativity in the passing concept. It's either a bunch of streaks down the field, a bunch of curls, or slants. That's it. And they'll go out there and run the occasional pick play in the red zone. But the problem with the pick play doesn't work against zone coverage. It only works against man coverage because you're stacking the wide receivers on top of each other. It's just a mess. This offense is a mess schematically. Hopefully Arthur Smith can figure this out, but I highly doubt it. I have more faith in the defense going out there and playing better, and they're playing good right now. And I have more faith in Mike Tomlin figuring things out. I'm not going to come on here and overreact and say they're going to be a fraud playoff team or they're frauds. Because if we do want to go with that narrative, I could say the Baltimore Ravens are frauds. They've lost to the Las Vegas Raiders early in the year. And I don't want to hear the argument it was early in the year they're figuring things out. No, they lost to the Las Vegas Raiders. They lost to Gardner Minshew. The Kansas City Chiefs have had some bad moments this season, even though they've only lost 1 game. And the Buffalo Bills, who went out there and beat the Kansas City Chiefs last week, they had an embarrassing loss against the Baltimore Ravens a few weeks ago. So it happens. In the Steelers' case, they just played down the competition. And they did the same thing underneath Bill Cowher. They had some losses against some teams that made you scratch your head. It happens. You hate to see that it happens. You think the Steelers are better than this. Unfortunately, they're not. It was a trap game, and they got trapped. Give the Cleveland Browns a lot of credit for going out there and taking care of business. But the offense has to be better. You have to go out there and figure things out early in the game. You can't have these dumb fumbles. You have to be more creative in the pass game. That's my takeaway for the offense in general. And when you use Justin Fields, you don't have to only use him as a runner. He can throw the football. It's not like Justin Fields cannot go out there and throw. He can throw the football. Not the same level as Russell Wilson, but he can complete passes. He was able to go out there and be very good for the first half of this season. For the first couple of games, he was going out there, he was willing, and he was dealing. The same problems they ran into against the Indianapolis Colts and against the Dallas Cowboys, they ran into in this matchup. It's just very interesting that they had 3 turnovers in this matchup and lost, and they had 3 turnovers against the Dallas Cowboys, and they lost in that matchup. It happens. When I look at the defense for the Steelers, very good game. But at the same time, they let up a lot of big plays to Jameis Winston and Jerry Jeudy. The Jerry Jeudy situation, the man had 6 catches for 85 receiving yards. You may say, hey, that's a solid game. It was snowing in the second half. Jerry Jeudy was wide open, making huge play after huge play. And this is the problem that I have with the Steelers defense at certain times. They'll go into zone coverage. Then they'll go into man coverage. But when they go into zone coverage, it's so easy to pick apart if the pressure doesn't get there. It was time where the pressure got to Jameis Winston, but they were double teaming TJ Watt. This is why you need Alex Highsmith in the matchup. But Alex Highsmith has been out the last few weeks dealing with an ankle injury. Even though Herbig did have a phenomenal play, and he had a great play last week against the Baltimore Ravens, he's more so of a bench pass rusher. He can come in on third down, give you good production. He's not an every down pass rusher. Not a bad player, and I'm not trying to say that he is. He's very good for what he does, but you would like to see more consistency. Alex Highsmith can give you that. But today, a lot of times, Jameis Winston had time inside the pocket. Cameron Hayward was able to go out there and have a lot of special plays against the run, and he was trying to push the pocket up the middle. It just wasn't good enough. And before you say, hey, they let up a lot of rushing yards, they didn't. Nick Chubb, 3 yards a carry, 2 rushing touchdowns. The longest rush of the day went for 7 yards, and they let him score on the last touchdown of the game because they're trying to get the ball back and possibly go out there and figure things out. Jerome Ford did have 4 carries, but were only for 19 yards. That was it. So the rushing defense was very good today. The passing defense could have been better. And once again, you came away with an interception. Jameis Winston only had 219 passing yards. Their defense did everything in this encounter to win the game. You had 2 fumbles and you had an interception. That's 3 takeaways. Sure, you'd like to see TJ Watt go out there and have 3 to 4 sacks in the game. It's not going to happen when he's getting double teamed and when he doesn't have another pass rusher alongside him that could take advantage of one-on-one opportunities. That is what Alex Highsmith can do. And unfortunately, right now, he's out dealing with that injury. They made a trade to bring in Preston Smith. They also made a trade to bring in Mike Williams. And before I get into that situation, I want to give Patrick Queen a lot of credit. Yet another solid game in today's game. And Joey Porter Jr. with the tackling, but especially Patrick Queen. Now let's get into the trades that they made before I let you guys go. Mike Williams. My boy Mike Williams. I'm not the biggest fan of Mike Williams. I think that Mike Williams is far behind his prime because of the injuries. He's still a better wide receiver than Van Jefferson. This is me basically going back to the offense. The last 2 games, this game and the game against the Ravens, 0 catches, 0 yards. They're not even letting him run on the field. The man came in against the Washington Commanders and had a receiving touchdown straight out the gate. Why do you not use Mike Williams more? That's like the biggest that's like the biggest mind-boggling thing. Can't even get my words right. I just don't understand. You bring in Mike Williams, who was a better wide receiver than Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson had a major drop last week against the Baltimore Ravens. He can't go out there and complete separation when you need it the most, when it's going deep down the field. He's a speedy wide receiver, but he's not technically sound. So when you get your hands on him, you press on him in his chest, he's not going anywhere. The cornerback can stay on his hip. Mike Williams is a bigger body. It's hard to press him at the line of scrimmage because he's stronger. And I'm not saying that he will go out there and have the same effect that George Pickens is having, but he's the type of wide receiver that Russell Wilson would benefit from playing with because he's a big body. Not only just that, he is a man that's a red zone machine. He was a red zone machine with the Los Angeles Chargers for many years, and he made a couple big plays with the New York Jets by just using his body. put him in the game more. As soon as he came in against the Washington Commanders, a top passing defense, he got a receiving touchdown. The one catch that he had was the catch that put the Steelers over the top to win that encounter. Calvin Austin III, I think that he's becoming a very good deep threat. 3 catches, 78 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown in today's matchup. That was a touchdown that put the Steelers up and got them into basically the lead when they had 19 points on the board. They went for 2. It was a fade ball to Cordero Patterson. Once again, Arthur Smith just shaking my head. Put in Mike Williams and have him throw the football, and have Russell Wilson throw the football to Mike Williams. And before you say Mike Williams, he's not fully healthy. Yes, he is. He's fully healthy because at the end of the game, George Pickens was about to crash out with some fans. Mike Williams was there to walk him away from it. Mike Williams was fully healthy and he was fully dressed. He was ready to go. Because I can tell you right now, he is a better wide receiver than Van Jefferson. You do have Big Pat. He had 4 catches, 59 receiving yards. I don't have a problem with that. But use Mike Williams more. Ugly loss for the Steelers. Ugly game. Shout out to the Browns for taking care of business. But it's one of those situations. You go into a trap and you got trapped. That's what happened for the Steelers in today's encounter. Hopefully they play better against the Cincinnati Bengals, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Kansas City Chiefs. More than likely they will because they play up the competition, but they just play down the competition. But let me know in the comment section below, how do you feel about this game for the Steelers and how do you feel about them moving forward? If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you like the video, hit the like button. Most importantly, want each and every last one of you guys stay safe, stay positive. Thanks for the video, guys. God bless. Peace.